the Great Northwoods to the Rock Mountain Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the owner of the Bucksport Animal Sanctuary now has a warrant out for her arrest.
Plus, a new law to make sure veterans get the benefits they deserve is now facing a legal challenge.
And all Fairfield police officers are equipped with AEDs to help save lives.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have all the day's news coming up in just a few moments, but first to check that forecast. Looking like today will be a lot like yesterday. We'll start off like on the dry side, but just a chance of some scattered thunderstorms later on today. And again, you're going to have to watch out for the smoke from those Canadian wildfires. We'll have more on that coming up. But it's expected to be drifting into the area once again today. Definitely.
If we weren't stubborn East Coasters, you'd see more people with those N95 masks on. With conditions like this, it's kind of normal in places that see more wildfires.
Yeah, it could be tough for people with breathing problems, too.
Very much so. Yep. All right, here's Conrad Sapinski with that forecast.
All right, guys, another milder start to the day. I feel like almost every day we've been starting out right around 60 degrees, and that's exactly what we got going on. Even some low to mid 60s right at the coast. Look at Machias, though, definitely a cooler pocket back in those mid 50s. Other than that, everywhere else we're pretty much right around that 60-degree range. Now, pretty dense fog all over the region, stretching from Rockland into Bar Harbor, 4 miles of visibility down there. Waterville right around 3, Millinocket area, you are seeing some reduced visibilities even here in town. We are seeing visibilities down to around 6, 7 to 8 miles. Now, we are seeing that combination of some clouds, some thicker clouds, of course, some rain showers, and of course, some fog in the region. We are still looking at these isolated showers and even some thunderstorms embedded in that as well. It doesn't look like it's anything strong for now, and it looks like it will stay non-severe. Now, pretty light winds out there. Augusta right into town. We're just having pretty much a 3-mile-per-hour wind. Waterville right around 5, so we are looking at things starting out the day pretty calm for today. Now, later on, though, we're going to continue to see partly to mostly cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms will be in the area. Temperatures around 75 and just a light south wind, just around 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, though, upper 50s, partly to mostly cloudy as well. Isolated thunderstorms possibly early. Then we're going to clear up. Temperatures right around 60 once again. For tomorrow, though, mid to upper 70s. Other than that, decreasing clouds. Hour by hour forecast does show temperatures right back in those mid 70s with scattered showers and thunderstorms.
New details this morning about a Bucksport animal rescue accused of mistreating animals. An arrest warrant has now been issued for the owner of Coastal Dreams Rescue and Sanctuary. The owner of Coastal Dreams, Elisha Krutaleski, is currently under investigation for animal cruelty after sources say 6 dogs were found dead and 27 others appeared to be abused on her property. She's facing 6 charges of aggravated cruelty to animals. According to the Bangor Daily, she's also facing 1 charge of cruelty to animals for failing to provide food, adequate food, shelter, and medical attention. According to a statement from the Maine Department of Agriculture, Director of Communications, Jim Britt, the Animal Welfare Program relocated 27 dogs from Coastal Dreams Rescue and Sanctuary in Bucksport. All of the dogs were taken to other shelters and rescues and are reportedly doing well. Some of the dogs should be available for adoption soon. No other information is available as the investigation is still ongoing.
An Orrington man has been charged with OUI after causing a 3-vehicle crash that sent a child to the hospital. According to Brewer Police Department, 42-year-old Robert Elliott of Orrington was driving on South Main Street in Brewer when he rear-ended another vehicle, causing significant damage to both vehicles. Police say the vehicle that was rear-ended then struck a 3rd vehicle. One of the occupants, a child, was transported to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they determined Elliott was under the influence of drugs and operating under a suspended license. He's now facing charges for both of those offenses.
An inmate at the Penobscot County Jail died Wednesday morning. According to the sheriff's office, the man was found unresponsive in his cell just before 8 a.m. On-site medical staff performed life-saving measures, reportedly, until the fire department arrived, but the man was later pronounced dead. An early investigation indicates the inmate suffered a medical event. Authorities are not releasing the identity of the inmate until they notify his family.
New details are emerging about a fishing boat that caught fire while off the coast of Maine. The crew of the three girls says they had just minutes to scramble into an inflatable lifeboat before the fire overtook the vessel. It was around 9 o'clock Sunday night, and the crew was just getting ready to haul in their nets for the day. One crew member says the last thing he did was go into the smoke-filled cabin to grab 5 survival suits before abandoning ship. They credit Captain Bob Roberge for quickly deciding to abandon ship and getting off a radio message to the Coast Guard to report their location in the Gulf of Maine. The crew was rescued 2 hours later by a Coast Guard cutter out of Portland. Firefighters used water and foam to douse the fire, which was still burning aboard the boat.
A new law aimed at protecting veterans from predatory claim sharks is facing a legal challenge. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard spoke with the bill's sponsor to learn more.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I had heard that when we had passed that was a potential.
Senator Brad Barron is talking about a lawsuit filed by a group of veterans and a benefits consulting firm in reaction to a law sponsored by Senator Barron and passed in the last legislative session. The law ends the practice of what he calls predatory claim sharks that help veterans file for their VA benefits and in return take a portion of those monthly benefits.
There are predatory firms that are targeting veterans and saying, hey, send us your information, sign up with us, and we'll get you your benefit for a percentage of. And I don't think there's any industry standard, but there was some that we heard stories that was, 30, 40% of the benefit.
In the lawsuit, the benefits consulting firm Veterans Guardian, VA Claims Consulting, says the new law is unconstitutional and goes against the First Amendment's right to free speech. They also cite a backlog of VA cases and claim they have a higher success rate of getting veterans benefits than free services offered by veteran service organizations.
The backlog of the claims is at the VA, not with the VSOs and that thing. So I think that's muddying the waters a little bit and not telling the whole story, right?
The law only stops unaccredited organizations, such as Veterans Guardians, from helping veterans file their claims. This does not stop accredited organizations such as the VFW and American Legion, both of which provide their help free of charge.
The simple thing is there's an accreditation process to be a VSO and to represent veterans. Get accredited.
We reached out to the Attorney General's office and Veterans Guardian VA Claims Consulting and did not receive a response. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, regulators are instituting a new rule that lobster fishermen must abide by. It calls for stricter minimum sizes for the lobsters they catch. The impending change is only 1/16 of an inch, but lobstermen say it will make a huge difference for them when the fishery is facing major threats from climate change, offshore wind, and new rules designed to protect whales. America's lobster catch is already dipping. The haul in Maine, which accounts for most of the U.S. lobster, fell from a high of 132.6 million pounds back in 2016 to 93.7 million pounds last year. The changes on the new size limits begin next summer.
Those challenging Dr. Cornel West's access to the presidential ballot in Maine claim his campaign used deceptive signature gathering tactics. At a hearing conducted by Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, challengers claimed signature gatherers in southern Maine approached multiple voters and asked them to sign petitions, allegedly for ballot referendum questions. Many who signed testified that they were unaware they were actually signing a petition for a third-party presidential candidate, Dr. Cornel West.
Yeah, I was at the Hannaford in Portland, and I was approached by an individual in the parking lot who was carrying a sign-up sheet. He explained to me that he was asking for voter signatures, registered voter signatures on a petition for elimination of politicians being able to trade stocks. So it was going to be basically, it sounded like it was going to be a citizens referendum that would have been presented in future, given enough voter signatures. And I didn't get to see the front page either. So I was unaware that I had signed a petition that had anything to do with Cornel West until I was contacted by the law firm.
Secretary Bellows now has 5 days to issue her decision on whether West is still qualified to be on Maine's 2024 presidential ballot.
There's been a sudden drop in air quality due to the smoke from ongoing wildfires in Canada. We talked with a doctor who says for your health's sake, it's a situation worth monitoring. The Maine Department of Environmental Protection reports air quality in the northern region of Maine is unhealthy for sensitive groups, which includes the elderly, young children, or those with underlying health complications. The rest of the state is experiencing moderate pollution and is only a concern for those who are highly sensitive. We spoke to a pulmonologist from Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center who says people should be conscious of their time outdoors until the conditions improve.
Because you don't want to overdo things, especially, as I said, the elderly, people who have underlying medical conditions. You have to be paying attention to that, trying to, even if you're going outside, try to limit your time outside.
Impacts to air quality are expected to continue into today. Updates to the air quality forecast can be found on the Maine Department of Environmental Protection's website.
Yeah, I work out outside, and yesterday I cut it short because when you look out on the horizon and when you can see it just up the road.
It's kind of hazy out there.
The haziness, I was like, I'm not going to push it too much today.
Yeah, good advice.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Mainers who use the food assistance program to buy healthy food for their families are running into problems at farmers markets. We'll hear about an effort to correct the situation.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. We can expect a cloudy day today with scattered thunderstorms later on. The highs around 75 degrees. Isolated storms overnight, lows around 59. Decreasing clouds tomorrow with highs around 77. We'll be right back.
This is your reminder to thank the friend who gets McDonald's breakfast for the group while everyone else sleeps in.
Don't sleep on a classic breakfast. Get a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome to Cottonwood Camping and RV Park, nestled in the heart of Down East Maine, the blueberry capital of the world. Our goal is to provide adventure camping with something for everyone, offering side-by-side and e-bike rentals with direct access to the Down East Sunrise Trails. Our treehouse in the woods is accessible by hiking or ATVing. Our two sister cabins offer charm and rustic appeal, equipped with modern conveniences. Or maybe you'd enjoy our tiny birdhouse for a night. We also have tenting areas. Book your stay now and experience the magic of Cottonwood Camping and RV Park.
Don't miss Jeopardy! Weeknights at 7:30 right here on ABC 7.
Find half-off deals today and save money by going to foxbangor.com.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Get any size iced coffee in any flavor for just $1.29 during breakfast hours.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Listen out there in television land.
It's Judge Judy's greatest hits with classics like
That's ridiculous. That's a lot of baloney.
And who could forget?
Is not an answer.
Judge Judy, delivering the hits daily.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC 7.
It's supposed to be a way for low-income families to get fresh, local fruits and vegetables, but it doesn't always work out that way. Mal Meyer looks at some of the challenges with the WVII system and what can be done about it.
Thousands of Mainers on WVII started using an app in 2022 to make certain purchases at places like farmers markets. But some say the change has come with a lot of problems.
Sometimes it's not working the whole day.
Christine Pompeo says she gets a lot of customers looking to use their benefits at the farmers market in Deering Oaks Park.
Only 3 of us here now accept the WVII. Most of them, they reject the WVII because it's wasting your time.
She says sometimes the app kicks them out. Farmers can't actually process the transaction or there are other technical issues.
I only have cash. If it's not worked for us here, they can just go empty like that. It's really bad.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services said it is addressing challenges regarding the eWIC app. It's reached out to partners at the USDA and Optum, which is the app developer's parent company, to pursue resolution.
Very many people voice difficulty using the smartphones, and some people, especially like the immigrant communities, some of them do not have smartphones.
The Opportunity Alliance helps bridge the digital divide down at the park.
We are lucky to have these two community health workers who speak like multi-languages.
The state does have translated videos online.
Si no conoce la fecha de nacimiento,
But even those are primarily in English, like the app. Ahiri Vitali says using paper checks or EWIC cards, like participants use at grocery stores, could be a way around these issues.
This could be simple ways of assisting somebody who doesn't speak English, somebody who could not access smartphone to download the application.
We need the whole system.
Mal Meyer reporting. In other news, while many local vegetable farmers often share their produce with markets or food pantries, a new farm in Machias is on a mission to target a different group in their community. The Down East Restorative Harvest is a new initiative by the nonprofit Healthy Acadia. It was started this year in response to a growing need for more vegetable farms in the county. One of the main goals of the gardens is to deliver fresh produce to the Washington County Jail. According to the county food programs manager, they have already harvested over 1,000 pounds, they have harvested thousands of pounds of vegetables this year. Half of that has gone directly to the Washington County Jail.
Bringing in this produce is a benefit to the jail in a number of ways. It's providing fresh nutrition to the jail residents. It's also providing a savings for the jail because we're donating the food to them.
Well, Healthy Acadia is working closely with the jail and the Maine Department of Corrections to hopefully expand their partnership by inviting inmates to volunteer at the garden. The Washington County Jail Administrator believes this would have a great impact.
The benefits would be pretty immeasurable because they'd learn a skill. They would get out and get the fresh air. They would get their hands in the dirt. I think that alone would be just very, very beneficial.
The garden is also providing fresh produce to the local food pantry and supporting weekly community dinners at a local church. They're also looking for volunteers. To learn more, you can visit our website at foxbangor.com.
An automated external defibrillator, commonly known as an AED, is a portable medical device used to help a person suffering from cardiac arrest. Before Wednesday, Fairfield's police only had 2 of those devices, but thanks to the town's EMS department, each officer will now have one in hand. Our Doug Banks has the story.
I've personally been involved in a call where it was used and it saved the gentleman's life.
Standing side by side are Fairfield's first responders, with AEDs in the hands of police personnel. Before Wednesday, however, Fairfield Police only had 2 automated external defibrillators between the whole department. And when one of those AEDs was used on a cardiac arrest call, it sparked a conversation, according to EMS Director Ira Cohen.
The thought was to try to get an AED in every vehicle.
Through AEDgrant.com, Director Cohen and the EMS department were able to provide the police department with 6 new AEDs, which will now be equipped in every police vehicle.
It was tough because primarily it was the supervisor vehicle that would have it. The new purchase of these AEDs will help the community greatly and will allow us to have more life-saving measures immediately once we arrive on scene.
With calls requiring the use of an AED, Director Cohen says the Fairfield Police Department is their biggest ally because their officers are often first on scene.
By them getting there and being able to recognize a cardiac arrest that's happening right now, they're able to get that AED on them and start CPR right off the bat.
Quite often they need some sort of medicine or electrical intervention to shock a heart rhythm, and this AED will help us do that. It's great that they were able to do this for us and provide them for us.
In Fairfield, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A local nonprofit celebrated local educators by treating them to some free ice cream and mini golf. Teachers gathered at Fielder's Choice on Audlin Road in Bangor to receive vouchers from Live and Work in Maine. The Director of Engagement for Live and Work in Maine, Katie Shorey, says this is just a small gesture to show Maine teachers how much they mean to the state's workforce.
We want teachers and people that work in schools to know that the community has their back, that the parents, the schools, the superintendents, the administration, Department of Education is supporting them.
To find out more about Live and Work in Maine's events, head over to their website at liveandworkinmaine.com.
That's a nice gesture.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that organization.
No, me either.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, the time now, 6:20. After the break, the Caribbean is on hurricane watch, bracing for flash floods as Tropical Storm Ernesto is building strength.
We'll have the very latest as Good Morning Maine continues.
I'm Jared Golden, and it's a privilege to represent you. Whether in the Marines or in Congress, being able to serve my fellow Mainers is reward enough. Unfortunately, some here try to profit off this privilege by trading on insider information in the stock market. That's why I'm working with Republicans and Democrats to ban members of Congress from trading individual stocks. I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because Congress shouldn't be about getting rich. It should only be about serving you.
There are plenty of good reasons to have a dock at your camp or lakefront home, and to choose a ShoreMaster Premium Dock System or Floating Poly Dock System from Hammond Lumber Company. Lightweight and durable, ShoreMaster high-grade aluminum docks are easy to install and maintain, and poly docks are perfect for dealing with deep or fluctuating water levels. Both offer a wide range of available configurations. There's a ShoreMaster or a poly dock system that's right for you, and you'll find it at Hammond Lumber Company.
This morning, the one and only Halle Berry comes to GMA to talk about something deeply personal to her and so many women. And she's doing it live. So what does she want you to know? This morning on
Good Morning, America. There is a store that is all about toys, where you will find that special and unique toy at Out on a Whimsy, Maine's largest toy store. A magical toy wonderland filled with fun and imagination for every child. Now with 3 locations, Belfast, Bangor, and Blue Hill.
Ernesto officially formed into a hurricane off of the coast of Puerto Rico. The storm growing in strength after it brought torrential rain, flooding, and damaging winds to several islands in the Caribbean.
Fox News correspondent Dan-Marie McNichol has the story.
Heavy rain pounded the U.S. and British Virgin Islands overnight. Ernesto swirling off the coast of Puerto Rico, blasting the region with winds up to 65 miles per hour, knocking down trees and power lines. This led to island-wide blackouts on St. John and St. Croix.
I know it was a long night for many of you listening to that wind howl.
The storm, which has now strengthened into a hurricane, is expected to continue dumping sporadic rainfall across the region, hindering cleanup efforts. Officials warn it could take some time for power to be restored. On the island of St. John, the National Guard is helping assess the damage.
Please be careful for any downed trees and power lines. Assume all power lines are live.
Similar messaging being pushed out in Puerto Rico. More than 700,000 people are in the dark there. Luma Energy released a statement saying it's prioritizing restoring electricity to hospitals and the island's water and sewer company. This is on top of the mass flooding impacting locals. Ernesto is expected to continue moving across open waters for the rest of the week. The National Hurricane Center says it could become a major Category 3 hurricane before the weekend. Bermuda could be the next island to feel its impacts. So far, forecasters say Ernesto is not expected to hit the U.S., but it could generate dangerous rip currents and large swells along the East Coast. In Miami, Dan-Marie McNichol, Fox News.
And we'll certainly be keeping our eyes on that storm as it continues to progress. In the meantime, it looks like we'll just have some cloudy weather around here with a chance of some thunderstorms later on today.
Yeah, if it makes its way to the northeast, it'll take a few days.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 6:24.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
All right, folks, get ready. More rain is in the forecast. Now, look at the Midwest and upper Midwest. We got some storms stretching all the way from Kansas up north into even Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. You are all getting in on some showers and thunderstorms, and that is all headed into our region. We're dealing with our own rain, though, right now, though, and that's very scattered in the area. It doesn't look like we have anything severe, and I've been keeping an eye on things the last several hours, and it has been pretty calm, and it will continue to stay mainly calm throughout the day today. But yes, scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible. Other than that, we'll stay partly to mostly cloudy, and then temperatures right around 75 degrees. Now, even into tonight, we are looking at possibly some thunderstorm chances mainly early. Other than that, we will continue to clear up. Now, rainfall-wise, the next 5 to 6 days, right around that half an inch range, maybe up to an inch of rain in some locations, especially stretching from Augusta right into town. Even Bar Harbor looks like they're going to get a little bit more than that half an inch range. Overall, though, half an inch to that 1 inch range at the next 5 to 6 days, and that looks like it will be the case. Now, dew points not too bad. Yes, they are a little bit elevated, but then they're going to continue to fall right through Friday, Saturday morning, right back up again, and then by Monday morning, that's when it will really feel a bit more humid outdoors with some warmer temperatures. Now, yes, we've been on that up and down roller coaster ride of temperatures. We saw a couple of days below average, and then the last 2 days, whoop, right back up into those lower 80s. So yes, that's 2 degrees above our average high this time of year, which is exactly 80 degrees, and we're going to continue to slowly cool on off as we head towards September. Now, right through Friday, right through the weekend, even into Monday, we're looking at near average temperatures, maybe a little tiny bit below that. And Tuesday into Wednesday, though, it does look like a little bit more cooler air will be back in the forecast. Now, for today, though, mid-70s, partly to mostly cloudy skies, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the area. Other than that, dry. For tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy. Once again, isolated thunderstorms possibly early. Then we will be clearing up. For tomorrow, though, mid to upper 70s, decreasing clouds, though, so a much better day back in the forecast. Our extended forecast outlook does show those decreasing clouds out there for Friday, partly cloudy on Saturday and dry. More chances of rain on Sunday with more chances of thunderstorms on Monday.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Let's do this.
Introducing Chevy's best lineup of SUVs ever. The rugged, always-ready Trailblazer, the first ever Traverse Z71, and the Chevy Trax, starting at $21,495. When it's your time to shine, Chevy's got you.
Qualified lessees with a current eligible lease can get this 2024 Trax for around $279 a month.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap. How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told. I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream is located 5 miles off exit 244 in Medway. We offer homemade pizza, mouth-watering cheeseburgers, lobster rolls, and scallops. Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream. Stop by for a delicious bite to eat and dessert too.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. The growth of inflation slows, but today's CPI report is a tough report card on the pain most Americans are feeling. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has the details.
Higher prices are still stalking Americans, but there's progress. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% in July. For the year ending in July, the CPI nudged under 3% for the first time since March of 2021. The core annual reading, excluding food and energy, was up 3.2%, also the tamest inflation in 3 years.
I know that there's some subtlety to the report, the details, the fact that there's still a lot of pain out there for consumers, and the market's trying to sort that out, but the headline number is pretty darn good.
But prices at the store are still going up, just not as fast, and Americans are still feeling it.
I feel like everything that you purchase at the store now has gone up substantially.
The cost of food rose 0.2 in July, including a 0.1% increase in groceries.
Prices aren't going to go down. Inflation is coming down. Prices are going up. And I think that's very hard to digest.
All told, the CPI report shows inflation is loosening its stranglehold on the economy, though prices still remain above the Fed's 2% target. The slightly softer than expected report comes as Fed policymakers contemplate when to start cutting interest rates amid signs the economy is cooling.
That's the big question the Fed's wrestling with, is where are we going?
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has said a September reduction is, quote, on the table. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
New polls show Kamala Harris making big gains as Democrats prepare for their next convention next week in Chicago. Both vice presidential nominees have been on the trail and just agreed to debate each other. A new Fox poll shows former President Trump with a tight lead over Vice President Kamala Harris, 50% to 49%. Other recent polls show Harris picking up steam ahead of the convention, leading in key swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Trump has been trying to take back some of the momentum, casting his vote in Florida's primary before heading to a rally in North Carolina. He focused on the economy, a top issue for voters. Wednesday night, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz tweeted he agreed to debate Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, on CBS in October. Vance told Fox News he's up for it as well, but didn't confirm a date.
Well, first of the nation mask ban has been signed into law in Nassau County, New York, located just east of New York City. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman signing the bill on Wednesday morning. The bill that makes it illegal to wear a mask in public is also raising controversy. New York Republican legislators calling for the ban over concerns of the rise of mask-wearing protesters, but critics say the ban violates citizens' First Amendment rights.
There is another reason other than just that. This is a broad public safety measure. What we've seen is people using masks to shoplift, to carjack, to rob banks, and this is activity that we want to stop.
Now, those over the age of 16 years old outside on public property in Nassau County will be prohibited to wear a mask, effective immediately. Those who are caught violating the rule could face up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, Travergy Farm is known for creating a great corn maze every year, and this year is no different.
We'll take a look inside as Good Morning Maine continues.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Take an epic quest to Dragonfire Pizza in Ellsworth. Try the King Dragon Pizza, Dragonfire hot wings, meatball and mozzarella, steak and cheese, or pulled pork, calzones, stromboli, and an assortment of salads. End your quest here at Dragonfire Pizza in Ellsworth.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
People ask me all the time, are those commercials really true? Does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. We really have gotten millions of dollars for Mainers hurt by commercial vehicles. And the insurance companies know when you call the twos, we're going to fight for you. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the twos. We win for you.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
When Rowell's Garage in Dover Foxcroft wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Today is Thursday, August 15th, 2024. Today is also National Relaxation Day. I like the sound of it.
If you're looking for a reason to slow down and take some much-needed rest, this is your sign to stop and smell the roses. Having a good work ethic is a great quality, but if you don't let yourself rest from time to time, you'll be forced to slow down from sickness or worse. Let this day be your sign to let go of some things and enjoy the simplicity of relaxation.
We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. You know, the summer is quickly coming to a close. I don't want to say that out loud, but
no, but it's true.
You got to get out there and enjoy a little bit, do some fun things
right
while you can. As you said, you got to smell the roses.
I know. Life is not all about going all the time.
No. And you only have one chance to.
I know.
Life. You got to go out and live it a little bit.
I know.
So.
I know. I don't want to talk about regrets and everything, but generally they revolve around not letting yourself live and chill out sometimes.
I like this day.
Yeah,
Relaxation Day.
I know. I think I'm going to take that advice.
Yep. All right, time for history. On this day in history, back in 1620, the Mayflower set sail from Southampton, England, with 102 pilgrims on board. It would arrive in what would become Plymouth Harbor in late November. 15 years later, the first recorded North American hurricane hit the Plymouth colony. In 1879, actress Ethel Barrymore, who was considered the first lady of the American theater, was born in Philadelphia. Ethel is the great aunt of the contemporary star Drew Barrymore.
I know. It's crazy what she was born into.
I think she has some other famous people in her family, too.
Oh, the Barrymores are extremely famous, and they've been so for decades. In 1914, after 10 years of work, the Panama Canal opened to ships. In 1969, the Woodstock Festival opened in Bethel, New York, on a dairy farm, with performers including Richie Havens, Tim Hardin, Ravi Shankar, Melanie Arlo Guthrie, and Joan Baez. And in 1979, after a troubled production, Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now was released in theaters, and it became a film classic. Noted for performances by Marlon Brando and Robert Duvall, whose character famously says that he loves the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, Martin Sheen was in that too, a young Martin Sheen.
Right.
You know, just a fantastic film.
Yeah.
Today's birthday, speaking of actors, they include actress Jennifer Lawrence, who is 34 years old today. Actor Ben Affleck is 52. Ben Affleck, not Afflecked. Sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
And pop star Joe Jonas is 35 years old.
Wow, big stars again today.
Yeah, I don't like Joe Jonas. No, I don't have anything against his work or anything. Just my daughter she was into the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to the Jonas Brothers over and over and over again.
Well, if we're on the note of negativity, I heard that Ben Affleck's getting a divorce. Yeah.
Is that a bad thing?
No.
No?
I think it's neutral.
Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, poor Ben. I like Ben.
Poor Ben. Oh, you never know. You don't know.
I know. I don't know him. I like some of his movies. That's about
I love a lot of his movies. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cute. Okay.
Wicked cunt, indeed.
Yeah. Moving on. Looks like today's going to be one of those days where you don't want to exert yourself too much outside. It's going to be pretty warm. That wildfire smoke is nothing to joke about.
Yeah. Good thing it's relaxation day.
I know.
You know, just stay home and relax.
I really was so glad to see that when I was writing it up yesterday. I was like, oh, I got to get everything done so I can relax tomorrow.
There you go. Here's Conrad with your forecast.
All right, guys, another milder start to the day. I feel like almost every day we've been starting out right around 60 degrees, and that's exactly what we got going on. Even some low to mid 60s right at the coast. Look at Machias, though. Definitely a cooler pocket back in those mid 50s. Other than that, everywhere else we're pretty much right around that 60-degree range. Now, pretty dense fog all over the region, stretching from Rockland into Bar Harbor. 4 miles of visibility down there. Waterville right around 3, Millinocket area. You are seeing some reduced visibilities even here in town. We are seeing visibilities down to around 6, 7 to 8 miles. Now, we are seeing that combination of some clouds, some thicker clouds, of course, some rain showers, and of course, some fog in the region. We are still looking at these isolated showers and even some thunderstorms embedded in that as well. It doesn't look like it's anything strong for now, and it looks like it will stay non-severe. Now, pretty light winds out there. Augusta right into town. We're just having pretty much a 3-mile-per-hour wind. Waterville right around 5, so we are looking at things starting out the day pretty calm for today. Now, later on, though, we're going to continue to see partly to mostly cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms will be in the area. Temperatures around 75 and just a light south wind just around 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, though, upper 50s, partly to mostly cloudy as well. Isolated thunderstorms possibly early. Then we're going to clear up. Temperatures right around 60 once again. For tomorrow, though, mid to upper 70s. Other than that, decreasing clouds. Hour-by-hour forecast does show temperatures right back in those mid-70s with scattered showers and thunderstorms.
It was interesting yesterday. I heard thunder in Bangor, but there wasn't any. There was very brief rain.
Yeah, it was around. There were thunderstorms around us, but
Right.
it never quite came into the Bangor area. But I know that some went down through Dedham, north of us. They got some thunder showers. So
Interesting.
it's out there, but nothing major, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
All right, moving on now. For the last 5 years, USA Today has voted the Trueworgy Family Orchards corn maze as one of the best in the country.
And this year, the Levant Farm is back at it again, this time with a beloved children's story character as its theme. Stretched across 5 acres of land, this Peter Rabbit-themed corn maze was laid out by hand, according to the farm's owner. The maze features trivia stations throughout the 10-foot-high field of corn and takes about 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Something new this year is the addition of a 25-foot-tall observation deck looking over the entire maze.
Right in the middle of the maze, so you gotta go through and find it, but it's really fun to get up there above the corn and see everything.
Now, the Family Orchards maze is in the running for the best in the country, and they need your help to claim that #1 spot again. To vote for their Peter Rabbit maze, you can visit trueworgyorchards.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Observation tower is a great idea.
Yeah, I've been out there before. It's kind of fun too. You can get lost in the maze pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people like me anyway. So.
No, it's not always intuitive.
No.
It's cool. Okay, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
When R&K Variety in Hamden wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store, offering fresh cooked meals that don't break the bank, gasoline for your mean machines, or beer and wine so your night is fine. Stop by today.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
You can hire Lowry & Associates, and there's no fee unless they win your case. Just call the twos.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee. Lowry & Associates settled my case for $400,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do? Call 222-2222.
Acadia Gem EV Rentals, the clean, all-electric, and fun way to see Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park. Gem vehicles are 100% electric, low-speed vehicles that are street legal on any paved road with a posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less. You will enjoy all the beauty of the island without leaving a carbon footprint. Gem rentals are available in 2, 4, and 6 passenger vehicles. Visit acadiagem.com or call 207-288-8983.
Two Nights Brewing Company in Sangerville presents the TKV Music Festival on September 1st. All original music by all main artists. Gates open at 9 a.m. Bring a lawn chair. Tickets available at twonightsbc.com/events.
The Philadelphia Eagles take on the New England Patriots in preseason football tonight at 7 on Fox 22.
Some very big news coming out of Foxborough on Wednesday. Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. After contract disputes were left unresolved, the Patriots officially parting ways with Matthew Judon. New England is trading the 2022 All-Pro pass rusher to the Atlanta Falcons in exchange for a third-round pick. Pretty good return. Judon nearly set the single-season record in sacks for the Patriots in 2022 with 15.5. He actually totaled 28 sacks over his first 2 seasons in New England before only seeing 4 games due to a torn bicep last season. Judon turns 32 on Thursday and had stated he was unhappy with his contract but did want to remain in Foxborough. Unfortunately, the team had other plans. Moving on now, Maine football opens the season in just a few weeks, and when they do, there will be 2 new coaches wearing the headsets and calling the shots. Our Jack Webb reports.
For the 3rd year in a row, the Maine football team will have new offensive and defensive play callers on game day. Both former wide receivers coach Mikhail Waters and defensive line coach Umberto DeMeo were assigned to the open coordinator positions last winter. Head coach Jordan Stevens says keeping the hires in-house was important for the development of the program.
It's always good to, here at Maine football to promote from within, and if we can do that, that creates a place for our coaches and players to develop.
For Waters, an in-house promotion isn't something new. The Las Vegas native is practically a Mainer.
I'm going in my 6th season here. This is my 2nd home. So to have the opportunity to lead them and bring them on down a successful path has been a lot of fun.
He has a great rapport with the players and really has really grown as a coach here.
Waters believes his time within the program will pay off in this new role.
So I've coached tight ends here, I've coached receivers here, and now the quarterback, so I have an understanding of individual players, just those relationships, seeing them grow over the years.
As for DeMeo, this will only be his 2nd year on the Maine staff, but as players sharing his passion for football has made for a smooth transition.
I mean, if you love football, naturally you want to be around other people, right? You don't want to just be around yourself. And football is a sport where you have to give before you get, right? So just building that mentality throughout the entire defense is easy when you surround yourself with the right type of guys.
Coach DeMeo is a defensive line guy, so he has that fire and that type of attitude about him every day, which is good and what you need to play in the black hole defense.
Speaking of that black hole defense, DeMeo will look to restore its name value. How do you do that? Get back to the basics.
Play hard, play fast, right? Play physical. It's the basics of football. You got to run to the football so you can get to the football. And if you don't, you're not going to be around it. And if you're not around it, then why are you there?
Reporting from Orono, I'm Jack Webb, ABC 7 Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. Staying with the Black Bears, just a different type of football now. Maine women's soccer coming off of an NCAA tournament berth. They open their season on Thursday afternoon on the road. The Black Bears taking on the Lemoyne Dolphins to open the 2024 campaign and to begin their America East title defense. Maine was 11-2-6 overall last fall and started conference play 8-0-4, 12 games without a loss. So they were picked to finish at the top of the conference once again this year, but they know it's always a tough task to repeat, and they feel they're up for the challenge.
We're going to get everybody's best. We're not going to sneak up on everybody. So, we're going to have to bring our A game every single time. And our players know that. But to be able to do that, that's a different thing. But I think that's a challenge, and I think that has appeal to our culture of really trying to, our goal is to be a better team this year than we were last year. So that's one way we can show that we're improving.
Lastly, to the baseball diamond, the Red Sox looking to finish off a sweep of the Texas Rangers at Fenway Park before hitting the road. Tanner Houck on the mound for Boston in the series finale. Game tied 2-2. We'll pick it up in the bottom of the 6th. Willie Abreu at the dish. He smacks this ball into the bullpen in right field. That is going to give Boston a 3-2 lead. Sox up 4-3 now in the 8th. 2 outs, grounder to David Hamilton. He can't handle it. The Rangers tie the game at 4. But, no problem. Boston had the answer this time. It's Romy Gonzalez with 2 runners on. He rips a double down the line into left field. 2-run score to make it 7-4. Next inning, though, 2 runners on for Wyatt Langford, and the rookie rips one into the monster seats in left field. That is gone. That is a 3-run game-tying shot with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And then on the very first pitch of extras, Jonah Heim, he barrels one up. That one's deep, and in the bullpen, Sox drop Game 3, 9-7. All right, that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. WVII. We're always with you.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
Jurassic Quest is back and bigger than ever. See life-size animatronic dinosaurs, including Apatosaurus, the massive T-Rex, and the 50-foot-long Megalodon. Interact with walking dinos and baby dinos. Experience incredible dinosaur rides, giant fossil digs, inflatables, the fossil science exhibit, and more. Don't miss the largest and most realistic dinosaur event on Earth at Cross Insurance Center in Bangor. This Friday through Sunday only. Tickets are flying fast. Get your tickets now before they're gone at JurassicQuest.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Park and Brewer will soon be home to the city's newest outdoor entertainment space.
Our David Ledford has more on what to expect.
Tuesday, Brewer City Council approved a $265,000 bid to build an amphitheater in Indian Trail Park. The park that sits along Route 9 has long been used for outdoor performances, but there's never been any seating. Now, city officials say that could change as early as next summer.
An amphitheater, sort of a bowl shape with granite seating in the center, and then the sides of the bowl will be grassy slopes.
This is the city's latest effort to expand the arts and culture scene in Brewer.
So the city of Brewer has been trying really hard for a lot of years now to grow our waterfront and to grow our arts and cultural activities here in the city. So we think this is a really nice complement to the Riverwalk that we already have.
10 Bucks Theater has used the park to put on outdoor productions for years, and they're hoping the improved accessibility will allow more people to enjoy their performances.
The ability for folks who can't necessarily walk down that hill very easily, having something in place there so that they can make their way down there and actually see the show is super important.
Construction must be completed by the end of 2025, but city officials expect work to get underway in the spring.
Our intention is to be able to have a wide variety of activities happen there. It could be everything from dance performances and plays, musical performances. It could be a wedding for somebody. Lots of different things that could take place there.
In Brewer, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, much younger, I was in one of those plays by 10 Bucks Theater.
Really?
Julie
Yeah.
Lisnett, she's come on our show many times, and she does plays there often, so it makes me happy.
This would be nice. It's so nice, like on a nice warm summer evening, to go out there and take in one of those shows. I've seen the Brewer hometown band out there before.
Right.
Now
Brewers
they'll have a
had
nice facility.
good luck investing in their parks already. People love the Riverfront Walkway.
Yeah, good things are happening in Brewer.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right.
All right, now it's time to get one final look at that forecast with meteorologist Conrad Sapinski.
All right, folks, get ready. More rain is in the forecast. Now, look at the Midwest and upper Midwest. We got some storms stretching all the way from Kansas up north into even Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. You are all getting in on some showers and thunderstorms, and that is all headed into our region. We're dealing with our own rain, though, right now, though, and that's very scattered in the area. It doesn't look like we have anything severe, and I've been keeping an eye on things the last several hours, and it has been pretty calm, and it will continue to stay mainly calm throughout the day today. But yes, scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible. Other than that, we'll stay partly to mostly cloudy, and then temperatures right around 75 degrees. Now, even into tonight, we are looking at possibly some thunderstorm chances mainly early. Other than that, we will continue to clear up. Now, rainfall-wise, the next 5 to 6 days, right around that ½ an inch range, maybe up to an inch of rain in some locations, especially stretching from Augusta right into town. Even Bar Harbor looks like they're going to get a little bit more than that half an inch range. Overall, though, half an inch to that 1 inch range at the next 5 to 6 days, and that looks like it will be the case. Now, dew points not too bad. Yes, they are a little bit elevated, but then they're going to continue to fall right through Friday, Saturday morning, right back up again, and then by Monday morning, that's when it will really feel a bit more humid outdoors with some warmer temperatures. Now, yes, we've been on that up and down roller coaster ride of temperatures. We saw a couple of days below average, and then the last 2 days, whoop, right back up into those lower 80s. So yes, that's 2 degrees above our average high this time of year, which is exactly 80 degrees, and we're going to continue to slowly cool on off as we head towards September. Now, right through Friday, right through the weekend, even into Monday, we're looking at near average temperatures, maybe a little tiny bit below that. Tuesday into Wednesday, though, it does look like a little bit more cooler air will be back in the forecast. Now, for today, though, mid-70s, partly to mostly cloudy skies, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the area. Other than that, dry. For tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy. Once again, isolated thunderstorms possibly early. Then we will be clearing up. For tomorrow, though, mid to upper 70s, decreasing clouds, though, so a much better day back in the forecast. Our extended forecast outlook does show those decreasing clouds out there for Friday, partly cloudy on Saturday and dry. More chances of rain on Sunday with more chances of thunderstorms on Monday.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Hi, I'm Barry, third-generation owner of Gas Horse Supply and Western Wear. For over 100 years, we have been a destination for Western saddlery and equine tack. But hold on, partner. We are a store with much more. We are fully stocked with Western apparel and, of course, Western boots for the entire family. For summer concerts, formal events, how about riding horses? Even safety toe work boots. All boots purchased receive a free coating of leather preservative. Cowboy up. Gas Horse Supply and Western Wear in Orono.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million. If you get hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
This is Lucky 13.
13 questions are all that stand between tonight's contestants and up to
$1 million.
Gina Rodriguez and Shaquille O'Neal host Lucky 13. New tonight on ABC.
A spectacular celestial event is captured from the International Space Station. NASA released time-lapse video on Wednesday of the Aurora Borealis, also known as the Northern Lights. Take a look at that. It shows the moon setting into the colorful aurora, followed by a sunrise lighting up a Soyuz spacecraft. The solar storms have been more frequent in the last few days, producing colorful auroras across the northern hemisphere.
Wow.
That's a different take on the situation. That is so cool.
Yeah, I didn't know it looked like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. A lot of people have been saying just be careful, the photos online may be a little misleading for what you actually see because the exposure can manipulate how it looks a little bit.
Yeah.
But beautiful either way.
Yeah.
All right, that's all for now. We'll continue broadcasting on Fox 22.
Have a great day, everyone.
It's okay to admit that every day is hard.
Sometimes it feels really bad. You're absolutely okay to feel this way. That is the most important message. Being able to find the community that you fit in is just so critical.
Finding that outlet and getting those resources has been huge.
People that I could call and be like, I totally lost it, and have somebody that I know and love say, Yep, that happens.
Gives you a peace of mind as a mom to know that you have those other people in your life.
If you've been in an accident with a truck, making the wrong call can be costly. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the resources, experience, and power to go after every dollar you deserve. If you're hurt in a truck accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Tell them you mean business.
Maine's largest network of parts just got a little bigger. Coastal Auto Parts, newest location in Bangor, has all your automotive needs to get you to the moments that matter most. Whether you're a professional mechanic or just need a little help, find everything you need all under one roof. Our knowledgeable staff is here to assist you with friendly service and expert advice right here at 200 Sylvan Road, just off I-95. Drive in, stock up, and hit the road with confidence. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
At Living Innovations, we build community. You can be a part of it. We put supporting people first, and that builds a caring community within our workforce and for the people we serve. Living Innovations supports people with disabilities and has flexible work opportunities available. You could become a shared living provider and work from home, or help support people to be active in the community. To learn more, visit livinginnovations.com and check out our employment and home provider opportunities. Become a part of Living Innovations and be part of a community with a purpose.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Two. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, the owner of a Bucksport Animal Sanctuary now has a warrant out for her arrest.
Plus, a new law to make sure veterans get the benefits they deserve is facing a legal challenge.
And all Fairfield police officers are now equipped with AEDs to help save lives. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Polson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have all the day's news coming up in just a few moments, but first to check on that forecast. Looking like today will be a bit more on the cloudy side than we've seen the last few days, and a chance of thunderstorms later on.
Yeah, pretty similar to yesterday.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about how there's wildfire smoke that's impacting folks around here as well. We'll get the rundown on that later, but first let's get a check of that forecast with